After 37 game weeks, the final day is upon us, and my friends, I am nervous. It's safe to say this title running has not gone according to the script. My master plan was flawless, right up until the moment it wasn't. And yes, that might sound silly to say, but for 29 game weeks I absolutely nailed this season. Even with the curveball of the assistant manager chip, even with the added pressure of making these videos and being so brazen and brash along the way, I was calling out all the big name content creators and I was beating them playing the game my way, and neither they nor the rest of the gentlemen could find the answer. And then came that game week 30 wildcard, my Icarus moment. After a season of soaring, I flew too close to the sun, my wings burnt away and I have plummeted back to earth. The FPL gods struck me down in the most brutal manner, and instead of ascending to the heavens, I find myself trapped in this purgatory. And now this Sunday, that will be my judgment. And that game week 30 wildcard proved such a sliding doors moment. If I'd just gone with the template strategy, if I'd just played the fixtures as we knew them to be, who knows where I'd be in the rankings. Maybe I'd be in the top 10k by now, or even higher. Maybe this League of Gentlemen Championship would have been wrapped up weeks ago. It's safe to say the game week 34 free hit would have bagged me many more points than my game week 36 monstrosity did. I gambled on a later double and blank that never came, and it's left me looking like a fool. It's left me on the precipice of losing everything. But that's just the way I play the game, and sometimes it works out, and on this occasion it did not. I underestimated Crystal Palace, and that's on me. But at least I went and finished the job and won that FA Cup, and having seen my beloved Newcastle win a trophy this season, I know what last Saturday meant to those Palace fans, and that does at least offer me some consolation. And you know, while playing the template strategy for the running would have paid off, if I'd played the template way all season, maybe I'd not be in this position. Though I have ultimately failed to scale my Everest, the only reason I made it as high as I did was by doing things my way. When all the algorithm acolytes went for that game week 6 wildcard, I told them it was a mistake, and I was right. Way back in game week 8 or 9, I said the eventual winner of this season's game, they would wildcard in game week 12. And now Lovro Budderson is clear at world number 1, and they wildcarded in, you guessed it, game week 12. I had the cojones to triple captain Haaland in game week 2, and those 51 points outscored the majority of the popular alternative options. And yes, Salah did go big in game week 24, but if I'd triple captained him, I would never have known the joys of Moyes. And that late equaliser from Tarkowski, that was one of my favourite FPL moments ever, so it was worth it. Yes, the facts are, playing my own way, that's what brought me to the dance. And on this occasion my golden carriage has turned into a pumpkin, but all is not lost. The glass slipper of the League of Gentlemen Championship, it could still slide onto my foot, and my FPL Nightmare could still have the fairy tale finale. But the wicked Step Morton still stands in my way. I must enter the arena one final time and go to war with the gladiator. And this time there are no second chances, there is no room for error. The next blow will be decisive. One of us will raise our sword high while the other drops to our knees. And in the gladiator's story, he is the hero. He is the underdog trying to take out the favourite. He is the revolutionary seeking to usurp his oppressor. And Mighty Morton, he deserves so much credit, he really does. while I'm out here trying to become only the third person to win the League of Gentlemen on multiple occasions. The Gladiator has a chance of his own piece of history. You see, nobody has ever led this division after game week 1 and gone on to win it. The Gladiator was our first tabletopper this season, and he is still in with a shout. And what's remarkable is that he has only played the game for 3 seasons. He finished 2.8 million last year. Yet this season he stepped up. He got his nose in front and he kept it there right up until I displaced him in game week 14. After weeks of dismissing his long-term threat, I took him down, and then he did fall away. In game week 10 he was 65 points clear. By game week 19 I was 68 points ahead of him, a 133 point swing in 9 game weeks. By game week 25 I was 127 points clear of Midas Morton, and I'd written him off as a threat, more concerned with the assassin who now lies in 3rd place, and he still has an outside shot, albeit a very slim one. The Gladiator though, I thought he was done, gone, kaput. And what the Gladiator has done since then is remarkable. Of the 11 game weeks since game week 27, he has outscored me by over 20 points in 5 of them. No matter what I do to try and shut him down, the Gladiator has found a way. It's hard to defend against an unpredictable player because you never truly know what they will do. Do you know, in my fear of this comeback he has produced, I even outright asked him last Friday what he was going to do. He told me he was avoiding Watkins. I thought it was a double bluff, and in my panic I brought in Watkins for a hit. And to do so I sold Wisser, as you saw in my video the other day. The Gladiator, he went and brought Wisser in. All sensible strategy would suggest that if you are chasing, you sign players your rival doesn't have. The Gladiator not only signed a player I owned, he told me he wasn't signing the player I feared. And whether it was mind games or not, it was a masterstroke. Because now I don't know what he'll do on Sunday. How can I possibly know? But you know, this is where I've gone wrong on this run-in. I've been trapped in this no man's land between doing what I think is best and doing what gives me the most chance of beating my rivals. Instead of just focusing on my team and letting the overall rank fall where it may, I've tried to outmaneuver everyone and it's left me lost. I've zigged when I should have zagged too many times. The Gladiator though, he's just focused on his own team. He's made the moves he thought would get him the most points, from his game week 2 triple captain to his game week 3 wildcard, that completely random game week 22 free hit, the one which scored 39 points above the average, and this run-in where he has thrown me off through the bizarre tactic of signing the best players, and now he's right back in it. And that's the big lesson to take away from this story, whatever the eventual outcome. In this game, you can only ever be successful by doing it your own way. First and second in the League of Gentlemen, and neither of us used the template chip strategy. Nobody in the race for world number 1 went for that game week 6 wildcard, the one all those big names seduced so many people with. To win in this game, you simply have to go your own way and hope that the cards are dealt in your favour. And yet I knew all this, I know all this, and still I obsess over the Gladiators team for the final day. Still I debate between signing the players I think will score the most and signing the players he has to minimise the variance. I know what I have to do, and yet I'm too scared to do it. And that's what the number crunchers and the data miners and the algorithm acolytes always forget. That FPL, this game of stats, facts and figures, at its core it always comes back to the unquantifiable characteristics of emotion and instinct. And though logic and reason suggest selling Isak is the play for me this week, My instinct says Eddie Howe's held him back for the final day, and my emotions say he's going to fire Newcastle into the Champions League the same way he won us the cup. But the fear is so great. The fear that I had the golden ticket and I sold him for a hit. And logic suggests selling Isak for Wissa is the play for me because it neutralises Wissa's threat. But pride is an emotion too, and will I be too proud to say I got it wrong? Or have I actually got it right, and now fear is going to cost me again, like it did last week? I just don't know. All I know for sure is that game week 37 ended with me 31 points ahead of the Gladiator after yet another one of those absolutely brutal late clean sheet wipeouts. They are always so hard to take, but this one was even more so given the circumstances. And yet I can't complain too much because the Gladiators De Bruyne missed an open goal from 4 yards out. We both saw those crucial points slip through our fingers, and ultimately my lords have survived. Nothing gained, but crucially nothing lost, and we've now only got one game week left to endure. And yes, my overall ranking has taken another pummeling, and now I'm down to 81k. It's painful and it's a little embarrassing, but the number I'm most focused on is that magical 31 point margin for error. And yes, before you ask, if it comes down to transfers made, I have that tiebreaker. Is it ideal? No. Have I made it difficult on myself? Yes, of course I have. But here we are. We all know the situation now, and we have one team selection, one free transfer and one captaincy choice left to make. If I was offered this predicament 37 game weeks ago, I would have been all over it. Whatever else has happened, however we've got here, no matter how many mistakes we've made along the way, we've made it to the final day, and that dream of winning the world's greatest mini-league for a second time is within touching distance of becoming a reality. All I have to do is get over that line. And I look at the Gladiators team and it isn't ideal for him. He has triple Forest against Chelsea, double Palace defence against Liverpool. He's got Aït-Nouri versus Wissa and Mbeumo. He's got De Bruyne away to Fulham, his third game in 8 days. In addition to Mbeumo, Milenkovic and Munoz, we share Cunha, Bowen, Burn, Kirkes and Mo Salah. 5 players you would think, in ordinary circumstances, would be nailed in our FPL teams. But this situation is far from ordinary. Trying to deduce the Gladiators team from his squad is not easy, because how differential does he want to make it? How much does he want to risk in search of the ultimate reward? That's a question only he can answer, and as he showed this week, trying to predict his moves is futile. If I had to guess, I'd say he sells Cunha and benches Elanga, but maybe he thinks De Bruyne's race is run and he brings in Saka or something. But nobody can foresee what Midas Morton will do, and trying to outthink him is what has led me to be in this predicament in the first place. All I can do is focus on my team and hope they can get the job done. And when you look at my team, you can see where the dilemmas are. Do I play Milenkovic, Munoz or Burn? I can make an argument for all 3, and knowing the way this running has gone, 2 of them will do the business and I'll start the 3rd. I can't get to Saka unless I sell Salah, which is asking for trouble at the best of times, and even though Salah's form has been poor, I think that's a risk too far even for me. But it's up front where the real issue lies. You see, I have to choose between a benched Cunha with his mind on Man United and an injury doubt Isak who may also have his eyes elsewhere. I don't want to sell Isak, but the problem is Cunha is fit. He may have been benched, but he is fit. Isak though, even if he starts, how long will he last? I just don't know. But if I'm honest with you, like I always am, I'm not even sure it matters. Call it heart over head if you want, call it brazen stupidity if you must, but unless Eddie Howe definitively states he's out, I just can't sell Isak. So you'd think, oh well, that's easy, just do Cunha to Evan Nilsson. But the problem with that is, I just don't think I can bench Jacob Murphy. Rightly or wrongly, I think I need my Newcastle trio for this final day, and that might mean benching Munoz, and that might mean keeping Isak and Cunha against all logic. What it might also mean is selling Jacob Murphy for Anthony Gordon. And I know what you're thinking. Fucking hell, Nightmare, what are you doing? The title is right there for you. You don't have to take such a risk. And I know that. Believe me, I know that. But I'm not just trying to win a mini-league. I'm trying to tell a story. A story of perseverance, a story of trying to become better, a story of someone playing this algorithmic game with his heart and seeing how far it can get him. And I am a sucker for a narrative, and nobody has a better one than Gordon right now. He's been called out in the press for underperformance. He's seen Murphy and Barnes steal his thunder. He missed the cup final through his own stupidity. We're against his old team, whose goal is tended by the biggest Mac and wind-up merchant around. A goalkeeper who saved a penalty from Gordon in the reverse fixture. They all laughed at him then. But what odds Gordon has the last laugh on Sunday as he silences the doubters and fires Newcastle into the Champions League? But then again, what odds he isn't trusted? He's left on the bench and then I lose the title by 1 appearance point. Maybe Evan Nilsson is a sensible play. Maybe I should just bite the bullet and get Wissa back and cut off that avenue for attack. Who knows, eh? It's the final day. I'll be just like everyone else, sat there waiting for leaks and panic signing someone in the last 10 minutes when they come in, desperately hoping to beat the website crash. As for captain, well, my head says Salah, but my heart says Isak. But just selecting him is a differential in itself, so I just don't know. All I know for sure is that the Gladiator has never outscored me by 31 points so far this season without using a chip. He did outscore me by 40 points on his random free hit game week, but there's no free hit now. He outscored me by 30 points in game week 6, but 30 points won't be enough. He's outscored me by over 20 points in 5 of the last 11 game weeks and in 3 of the last 5. But there's only 1 game week left. I got my strategy horribly wrong for the final quarter of the season, but the first 3 quarters has been enough to get me so close to ending my FPL nightmare. And this is not the way I dreamed it would go down, and this is not a masterclass in how to win with style and panache. But seasons aren't played over the last 8 game weeks, they are played over 9 long, hard, grueling months, and whatever anyone might think, I am here on merit. I am here because I deserve to be. And though I do feel embarrassed at how I've dropped in the rankings recently, if I'd tweaked that game week 36 free hit just ever so slightly, I'd be up and around the top 10k. If I'd just played it safe, I'd be 25k. But I went for it. I had to know if I could pull off the miracle, and I was so close, and yet so far. But though I have fallen, this is still the second best season I have ever had. In the biggest pressure cooker I've ever experienced in this game, I have stepped up and delivered, and maybe instead of being embarrassed, I should give myself a bit more credit. Yes, in the last 8 game weeks I have taken a hiding the likes of which haven't been seen since the great Mick Foley was thrown off Hell in a Cell. But like I keep saying, I'm not here to win game weeks, I'm here to win that League of Gentlemen title. And for 37 game weeks I have been good enough to do so. On Sunday we find out if I can be good enough for one final game week, if I can emulate Mick Foley and rebound from the Hell in the Cell to become the champion, and if I can complete the hero's journey and find the fairy tale finale to my FPL nightmare for the last time this season. For one more game week, I hope I can be good enough.
Oh, it's an FPL nightmare, got me pulling out my hair. I'm the greatest football manager to ever grace the old armchair. But the FPL gods hate me, and no one seems to care that my points are only average, and my ranking is not fair.